Good evening. I'm Nicole McStay, Deputy Town Administrator, and I will be presenting the questions we have received to date about the 2020 town meeting process and items on the warrant. Before I begin going over the questions, I would like to take a moment to announce that this afternoon, the Administration Office received a protest petition on behalf of the Select Board. A protest petition is a petition that can be submitted by property owners whose property would be affected by a proposed zoning amendment or repeal. If the protest petition is found to be valid, Zoning Amendment 1 will require at least 2/3 of the voters to vote yes for it to take effect. Further updates will be posted on the town meeting page of our website, www.townofpeterborough.com/town_meeting. We have received a few questions about voting via absentee ballot. Many people have asked when absentee ballot request forms are due. Many people have asked when absentee ballot request forms are due. If you wish to submit your request form by mail, email, or fax, it must arrive at the town clerk's office no later than July 10th so that the town clerk has time to mail you your ballot. If you wish to submit it in person, you may do so during regular business hours through July 13th. And please remember that all absentee ballots must be received by 5 p.m. on July 14th. Many people have also asked where they can get absentee ballot request forms. They are available for pickup outside the library's temporary location in the Monadnock Plaza off of Route 202 in the old Radio Shack space next to the Pearl Restaurant. You can also download one yourself from the town's website. When you go to www.townofpeterborough.com, you will find information about absentee voting and absentee voting registration by clicking on the headline indicated here by the yellow arrow. The link will remain near the top of the page until voting is completed on July 14th. Julie Perrin of Winter Street wrote, I think I heard you say that those choosing to vote in person at the community center are encouraged, not mandated, to wear masks. I can't imagine that the volunteer poll workers, many of whom are seniors, would want to put themselves in this situation. Because there is the alternative of voting absentee, I don't see any reason why masks should not be mandatory for in-person voting. I hope you'll examine this situation further. That is, unless I heard you wrong. To answer Julie, we cannot require that in-person voters wear face masks because not everyone can wear them. Some people have medical issues that prevent them from wearing any face covering. We are strongly urging them to do so in line with Governor Sununu's Stay-at-Home 2.0 plan. For more information, please see the governor's guidance at www.covidguidance.nh.gov. Julie Perrin of Winter Street also asked, can you consider organizing the ballot so that proposals that do not affect taxation are separated from those that do? To answer Julie, we cannot change the order of the ballot. The last day to do so was on March 18th. Loretta Laurinaitis of Four Winds Farm Road asked, since there is a statement listed on the website by the leading signatory of Article 16 petition, Medicare for All, why isn't a statement allowed for the zoning amendment citizens petition? To answer Loretta, zoning amendments are discussed at the Planning Board public hearings, where persons in favor of or opposed to amendments have the opportunity to discuss them. These public hearings went ahead as originally scheduled earlier this year. Articles 3 through 17 were subject to the deliberative sessions public process, which was not held due to the COVID-19 emergency. Along with the information presented by town staff, petitioners who had not been able to present information related to warrant articles 14, 15, 16, and 17 are being given the opportunity to present information to the voters, which would provide additional details about the article, but would not seek to promote a vote in favor of or against the article. Bill Chatfield of Old Dublin Road wrote, I see once again that the town wants to spend a fair amount of money to start work on conception plans, et cetera, for a new fire station from scratch, when I thought I and several others had convinced town management a year or two ago to instead seek info from other towns of roughly comparable population that had built new stations as a first action. I could see needing to start from scratch if you had a challenging site on which to build, but the Elm Street site is pretty flat and should accommodate existing designs. Why are we asking for money to do something when useful information might be available from other towns for free? Please see photos and info of these two stations being built by the same company, Ekman Construction in Bedford, New Hampshire, Litchfield and Pelham. Both towns, Litchfield and Pelham, are a little more populous than Peterborough, but I think it would be fairly easy to scale down a bit from one of their designs if they include too many bays. A very nice looking station was also built in Warner, New Hampshire. Other somewhat recent ones are Stratham and North Conway. The website that mentions the North Conway station also has some intriguing tangible uses for stations that might be adaptable to Peterborough. Mr. Chatfield also provided a link to a website that has been included on the question and answers page of the Town of Peterborough website. To answer Mr. Chatfield, it has been over 15 years since a complete programmatic study and community discussion has been conducted around the current and future needs of the Peterborough Fire and Rescue. The process that we have outlined to address the new building is to first determine the town's needs and convert that into a physical layout. Once that process is completed, we may very well be able to utilize existing plans from another project. However, the lot on Elm Street presents some constraints, including setbacks from wetlands, design around the community center that incorporates the safety of the patrons, and potential to incorporate the old National Guard garage that is on the site. Combined with the intent is to lay out a site plan that will allow for future incorporation of the police station, which will require significant site engineering. An engineer or architect will also be needed to provide the town with a current cost estimate for the design. The town's administrative staff, members of the CIP committee, budget committee, select board, and ultimately the voters at a future town meeting will need to have a design with cost estimates in order to make informed decisions about a new public safety building. Given the constraints and unique elements that Chief Walker has laid out above, the plans and cost estimates from a recent build in another community would not be adequate to give all the decision makers what they need to make an informed decision on the project. Loretta Laurinaitis of Four Winds Farm Road wrote, in response to Bill Chatfield's question, the answer includes the following statement. Combined with the intent, is to lay out a site plan that will allow for future incorporation of the police station and will require significant site engineering, end quote. When was the decision made that the police department would be incorporated with the fire department on the Elm Street site, and who made this decision? I know there were prior discussions about having a joint facility on the fire and police departments, but I don't recall a final decision. So is the article solely for the fire station design, or is the design for a new police station being included in these costs? To answer Ms. Laurinaitis, the article seeks to raise the funds necessary to develop a conceptual design, preliminary cost estimate, and construction drawings for a new fire station. The intent is to design the facility in such a way to allow for the future co-location of a police station, but not design or construct a new police station at this time. Co-location of the fire department and police department have been central in the planning process for over 15 years. Sarah Steinberg Heller of High Street asked, who determines whether the EV charging station is free or is something people are charged for? Does the select board make that decision? Who has input in that process? Warrant Article 14 calls for the spending of up to $35,000 out of the Greater Downtown TIF Fund. This includes the cost of electricity. The decision was made by the petitioners, not the select board. The decision is before the voters. The select board and the budget committee discussed the EV charging stations at their joint meeting on March 3rd. Loretta Laurinaitis of Four Winds Farm Road wrote, Article 14 for the electric charging station in the Riverwalk parking lot by petition. Who will own the charging station, the town or a private company? What are the actual costs for installing a charging station? Who will be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep? And what are the estimated costs? Since the Greater Downtown TIF Tax Increment Finance District will only spend up to $35,000, what happens if the costs are more? And who will be responsible for them after the $35,000 is spent? Will the town be obligated to pay costs for electricity for the charging station in the coming years? Why did the Budget Committee not vote to recommend this article? In answer to Ms. Laurinaitis, no plan for purchase, lease, ownership, installation of, or cost of maintaining the charging stations was brought with the warrant article. Should this article pass along, all these questions would need to be explored. With regards to why the Budget Committee voted not to recommend the article, please see the minutes or the video of the Joint Select Board Budget Committee meeting, which was held on March 3rd, 2020. Ms. Laurinaitis also asked, since the issue of a TIF district is raised by Article 14, where is the accounting for TIF districts for the public to view? Where do we find the money generated by each TIF over the years, and what those funds have been used on during the existence of those TIF districts? Do the TIF districts maintain unused funds in interest-bearing accounts for future use or return unused funds to the town's general fund? To answer, as with all other funds, the TIF districts are addressed by the auditor each year in the audited financial statements report that is included in the annual report and is posted on the town's website with all other annual report documents. The TIF district funds maintain unused funds in interest-bearing accounts. This concludes the presentation of the 2020 town meeting process and town warrant questions and answers. The administration office will continue to accept questions about town meeting and the town meeting process. You can submit your questions via email, phone, or mail as shown on this slide. When you do, please be sure to give us your name, your street address, so that questions can be added to the record of this town meeting. All questions will be posted on the town's website in the town meeting section, along with a link to the guide to Peterborough's town meeting process presentation that I gave on June 16th, links to minutes and recordings of the Joint Select Board and Budget Committee meetings, and an in-depth presentation on some of the articles. We will update the website daily through July 13th. Thank you for your time tonight and your patience with us as we work to adapt town meeting to respond to these challenging circumstances.